Hello, welcome to CEO Insights, the Living Organization podcast with Vitaly Gieman. With me is Rich DeStefano from Support Claim Services, and it's an insurance claim company. Well, why don't you introduce yourself? Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me today. We are in the insurance defense arena. We provide medical expertise and guidance to help resolve claims from auto accidents to work-related claims to slip and fall.
Wonderful, Richard. Richard, we were just talking how amazing that when the COVID hit, you were kind of all ready for remote working, and a lot of our audience still adjusting, to be honest. Some people come back, some want to work home. There's now this hybrid situation. Tell us why you were able to so easily adjust to this remote working.
Well, we were kind of forced due to the fact that we are based here in the Northeast. So weather kind of dictated our moving in that direction years before COVID hit. And through the use of, and working with some great technology partners, we were able to put uh, all of our functions online, even right down to the phone systems, um, to working with the banks, to working with the doctors, and that really afforded us the opportunity that when the world stopped, on I believe it was March 15th, we just we flipped the switch, and we went to our remote protocols.
Interesting. Yeah. So it was almost a culture of the company already. Actually, tell us about the culture. You were mentioning before that it's not just the setup and procedures. That's obvious because you're a smart tech company, but you have this culture that adopted for that. And tell me about your culture.
Absolutely. So for over 32 years, this has been a privately held company. Uh, Mrs. Sally Rogan started it many years ago, and it's always been very much a family atmosphere, an employee first attitude, and we we like to incorporate everyone's ideas into our growth. So there's an open door policy. Best ideas win. And I think if we had more time and we went step by step, there are a lot of fingerprints on who we are today, and it comes from a variety of the staff. And we welcome that, and they feel that they have a piece of ownership almost.
Mm, How do you create that sense of ownership? Tell us more.
Well, we prior to COVID, we had a quarterly bonus program for the entire company, and it was based on revenue targets. We just started it, not in the same capacity prior to COVID, but we're working towards that. So, from a financial standpoint, our folks are well compensated for their efforts. Goals are clearly stated, so they know what the targets are. We don't. Our financials internally are pretty much an open book, so they see where we are um, in the process, and if we meet those goals, they know that there's financial rewards. We do a ton of things during the course of the year. A lot of parties for Thanksgiving lunches and Christmas lunches, and the kickoff to the NFL season, the Super Bowl party. So we try and bring some sort of social aspect uh, to the company, so that it's not always business.
Yeah, this is so important because we've gone into this virtual world. And one of the things I miss, I remember, is that social interaction. I mean, I just want to see, part of it is a social, just getting together with friends, right? I mean, work is not just about work, it's also about community.
More important now than ever before, because again, the majority of our staff does work remotely, so we try and pull people in, or at the very best get them in bigger groups, because people are spread out across the country. But I think it's still important that you can put faces to names. People are working with each other across the country, and they don't know, very much about them culturally, or even what they look like. So we did it prior to our efforts. Post COVID are even greater, because again, we want this to be a family atmosphere.
Yeah, yeah. This is so important. Richard, I've been interviewing over 800 CEOs in the last 5 years, and I keep hearing the same pattern. if you want to have a successful company, create that family atmosphere, create the interaction that we are not just coming to work just to do work. We're a team, and that team spirit, and that some companies just don't have it. They don't have it, and some companies really do it really
It's
well.
it's a shame because if you have good people, and you do right by them professionally and personally, because again, there's a personal aspect that always dips into, um, into work. They're happy, they stay. You have consistency. You have consistency amongst, uh, not just the employees, but with the customer, and that's more valuable than constantly turning over the staff. I just was never a fan of that model. Now, again, not everyone's a star employee, but for the most part, we we put a lot of emphasis in the interview process. We look for the people who fit our uh, our culture.
Yeah, yeah. That's what you said to me at the start. Is that you're very careful who you surround yourself with, right? Literally, person by
Yes,
person.
yes. Well, I owe that responsibility to everyone who has come on board. The choices I make and the choices the HR department makes, it has a domino effect on the existing employees. And so we've got to just not just get it right, um, for us, but we have to get it right for the entire office, or group of people.
That is very conscious of you, because some CEOs don't perceive it. They kind of like see it like, well, here is the job. Here is, as long as he can do the job and he's the best, hire him. He's not seeing that. Wait a minute, he might not be a good team player for us. He could be great, but he create havoc in the organization.
Now, give me somebody who's hungry, who has a heart, and I'll make them successful. If in our office and in our company, everyone knows I have very few rules. However, one rule is we play for the name on the front of the jersey, not the name on the back. And if you're playing for the name on the back, you're not going to be on the team very long.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that is perfect analogy, and we can end right here. That's a great quote. I might even quote you one day on that one. Thank you so much. I'd love to have you back again, and good luck with your company.
Thank you so much. You have a great day.